Hey. What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
I don't think the frog's kind of whack, huh, guys? Switch the chip.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to our final game of the day, week 5 of the NECC here on the Valorant broadcast. My name is Vincent, and I am joined by the amazing Jag to bring you through the final game of today. Jag, it's late, but how are you feeling?
Yeah, it is late, but these teams, they're on the West Coast, so they're not feeling it nearly as bad as I think we are right now, but we're going to power through because it's going to be possibly a great game. It's actually a rematch from another tournament that was played on Sunday with UC Davis taking that matchup 2-0. So right now, Dominguez Hills, they're coming into this looking for a little bit of ridge. We just saw their number 2 team win. Now their number 1 team coming in at 2-2. They're trying to get on the positive side of the win-loss record. UC Davis, they got the win on Sunday. They're undefeated so far in NECC. I think they might be the team to look out for here in our top division champions. So there's going to be a lot on the line here today, and it's going to be a great one. We're going to be starting out here on Ascent, which I don't think is any surprise at all. I feel like that's the map we see the most.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. If you're watching any sort of like tier 2 Valorant, you know that you only watch Ascent, and any other map is just non-existent. Fortunately, we do get to go to Haven, guaranteed for our map number 2. That being said, if we do need it, Bind is also potentially on the cards here. Regardless, I think we should be seeing some interesting stuff. You and I got the opportunity to cast this CSUDH side at the very least a little bit ago, a couple of weeks ago rather, and and big heavy hitters, right? You know, the likes of Riley, the likes of Bayv, one mad bad dog as well. So it feels as if there is certainly some heavy hitters there for the CSU side, but going up against UC Davis, it's 4-0. That is going to be a tough ask here, especially I've heard a lot about Smurfsicles in particular. I don't know if you have, but both Smurfsicles and Various, I've like heard those names floating around the Discord, and like they're nuts. So I have yet to get to see them myself, but I'm excited to take a look.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like you said, like these names, they've been floating around. Riley's one of the ones that you mentioned, and they were the week 3 MVP. We helped make sure that he got that title. He had a great performance on the Sova, just looks amazing with the Odin, but will they be able to be enough tonight? That's going to be the question. There are great players, as you said. I think Various is going to be one to look out for in particular. That's the one that we have heard. As you said, the name has been kind of whispering around. And I think it's like a whisper in the wind. And that's what you love to see when you get a league that's so competitive, so close, that these players are really getting a time to shine in the spotlight individually. But now we're going to be going into the agent draft. And from what we see so far, nothing out of the ordinary. But second, I don't think Astra is allowed. I think that she's going to be banned until next week. So I think we've seen this a few times from CSUDH, Dominguez Hills, where they just lock in, try to lock in all 5 euros. It doesn't ever work out because unfortunately that's not how the game works. But imagine if there were no agent limits. That would be a fun time.
By a fun time, you mean absolute chaos and ridiculousness?
I'd love it.
Yes, I would agree. Oh man, yeah, the Astra. I do find the Astra going to be fun and interesting to watch once they're available to be picked up. But yeah, not going to happen today or this week for that matter. So unfortunately, no dice there. That being said, I would imagine that we're going to be seeing much of the same that we normally see, the Omens as well as Jet plus a potential Breach. We saw Breach in the last series here on Ascent, and I think Breach is really strong on this map in particular, Jag.
Yeah, I think Breach can work. His stuns in particular are really, really good. But, we've also seen a lot of Reyna. She's kind of been that oddball pick, but she has been able to work out in certain scenarios. And it looks like that is what we're going to see from Dominguez Hills, is they're going to go for the triple duelist setup. So we're still waiting for these last lock-ins to come through. There's always the kind of decision between a Killjoy and a Cypher. Do similar things, but different ways. More defensive, but we always say that Killjoy is a bit more versatile, so she can work out. But as we go back to the lobby, I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Looks like there might have been some issues with the agent draft. But I think while we have this opportunity, we can talk a little bit more about Astra. Obviously, she's not going to be seen here today, but I really think that she could have an impact to shake up the game in a way that we haven't really seen from the newest agents. I mean, Sky and Yoru, both been out for a while now. Neither of them really came in and were meta-defining by any means, but Astra adding a new primary controller who uses smokes, I think that could really shift the meta in a new direction.
It really could. It's very interesting. Like we are now finally seeing Sky used at the highest level of play over like on Icebox in particular. Some people working that out on Bind I've seen in the recent days or recent couple of weeks specifically. But with Astra coming in, I saw, okay, so maybe this is like a bad like take, because I saw Hiko playing with Astra and I was like, it blew it away. I was like, dude, like, granted, this is a pro player, so like, keep that in mind on one of the best teams in the world. But still, I was like, dude, this character is busted. What is going on? I cannot believe what he was able to make happen on Astra. But she looks like a fun and really interesting character. One of the things that I think is very interesting, right, is when you go into like the astral form, right, you have no audio. You can't hear anything. And you can't see kill feed, you can't see anything either. And so it's kind of interesting that like you, in order to place your utility, you have to lose out on information, which is kind of a cool mechanic. I hadn't really thought about it until I heard somebody else mentioning it. I'm like, oh, that's actually really neat, because you're forced to make a decision whether or not you can, like take a fight or if in the mid fight, like in a clutch or whatnot, like give up that information that you could potentially gain off the audio cues. I don't know. I just found it really interesting. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's a cool way to go for a character?
I think that it makes her a little bit less overpowered for sure, because I feel like if you had those, especially visual cues, I think more than audio cues of where enemies are, and you're able to use your abilities while in that state, then it's just super overpowered because you're invulnerable and you basically have free will to do whatever you want across the map. So you kind of have to go into it knowing already what you're going to do ahead of time and just hope that it works out for the best. So, risk versus reward. I feel like there's a lot of characters like that in Valorant. Reyna is probably, I think, one of the biggest ones there. Like she can get a lot of value or she can get none. I think the thing about Astra is she's not a duelist, so she's going to be played a little bit differently. But we'll see how that is next week as we do get in to the agent draft. These teams are not wasting any time. This time around, they are locking all of them, all 10. And it looks like there are a few differences. Dominguez Hills, they're going to go that triple duelist setup that we talked about before. UC Davis, they are not. They are going to be running double duelist with a Sova instead. And there is no primary... no, never mind. I'm completely blanking. 2 Omens. There it is. I was thinking that Riley might be on the Sova, but it looks like they've gotten off the role we know them best for and are going to be trying to go for the Omen instead. So primary smokers on either side. Both these comps looking mighty fine. I mean, how do you feel about the triple duelist here?
I think that it's, you were talking about boomer bust, right? This is very boomer bust coming in for this side. Like the triple duelist can be good, though I think Shan playing the Raze here, Raze is not like the best of characters on this map in particular. Not that it's bad, just that it doesn't necessarily work as well as like a bind. But it's very possible. I mean, it's going to be, as you were talking about, off the back of some of that utility, the lack of a Sova is scary because all the open areas on this map allow for Sova to get so much utility off and so much information off the back of those sonar arrows. So that is what I think is more worrying than just the triple duelist.
Yeah, the recon can be so important already. Various gonna get the first kill. They ran out, got it. Now they're looking for the second one, and this is a great first push from UC Davis. Again, this is a team that's already won against Dominguez Hills just a few days ago, and they're starting off this pistol round amazingly.
I mean, that's the confidence right there. You see just running into the heaven position, making sure everything gets cleared out. One player does come back in there for CSU, but that is probably going to be short-lived. That being said, one Mad Bad Dog does get a frag over onto Various in a main. It's going to have to try and find something as the paint canisters come out, trying to find something, but can't take out that frenzy in time as Shan falls. So it's left to only onto Gunbear, who's got to try and pick up something. Just the classic in hand, a bit of armor to contend with. Tries for the right click, doesn't get it, but gets it with the taps. There's the right click, does much better on the second draw. Has lots of HP remaining, and both players very, very low. This is doable, has the third as well. Now it's just a one-on-one against the opposing Killjoy. Now information gained, and that spike is fully ticked away. There's no time remaining to try and pick that one up, and Gunbear is going to have to save after what was realistically still a nice job finding a couple of frags.
Yeah, it was almost a miracle comeback, finding 3, almost finding 4. I mean, the Killjoy left on the side of UC Davis was so weak, but the fact that they put it their turret, Smurfsicles, I think, was able to save themselves there. They did end up dying to the spike, as did their counterpart on the side of Dominguez Hills. They both died at the same time. I like that camaraderie among Killjoys, but there was a great opportunity for the retake. They just weren't able to find it. Now UC Davis, they are going to be buying a bit here, and Various going very aggressive, going to be going with a Phantom early on. And I always think this is dangerous on a second round because, I mean, it can work wonders, but if you give that gun up in the other direction, it can just do so much for the team that lost the first round.
Yeah, the one Phantom I feel can be effective. It just kind of adds that extra level of like additional firepower. But you're right, very dangerous. And I actually think it was interesting, right, that we saw Gunbear go and die. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's because you only get 1,000 credits if you live. You get more if you die. And I think that could have been why Gunbear elected to do that. But maybe we can ask if we get an interview of any kind. Nonetheless,
makes sense to me.
Yeah. Nonetheless, push definitely going to be over here towards B and C16 with that judge is making it sing. 2 frags already, and now looking for more onto Bay V, who's trying to do something with these right clicks to reload it, and that's the cue for C16 to swing wide. Both players falling there for the defense, and it's the second round on the board there for the UC Davis side.
How many times do you see a 4K with a judge? That's like just something you don't see every day, but there it was, coming out in full view, and that's why Jet gets so dangerous with her dash, with her off draft. She can just use her momentum or her movement abilities to get into places, build momentum in there. Now C16 way ahead of everyone else in the lobby, double the kills of the leading killer so far on the side of Dominguez Hill. So 2 great rounds, but now you see that there is going to be a buy coming out from Dominguez Hill. C16 actually going to commit the Blade Storm here, so this shows me that they do have all that confidence in the world. They could try to go for the alley-oop over the top. We see this a lot where the Jet in a double up draft, but instead decides to dash onto the point.
That dash buying some information and potentially throwing off the push, but no, that's a great turnaround. C16 wasn't looking the right direction, but turns around, gets the right click. Now it has to go against the potential of that judge and falls to Shan. So it's still 2 players here for the defense. One with the judge, of course. Shan now trying to retake up from heaven. Pink canisters are out. Not going to be finding much damage, though, as the information is now gained. Tries to use the blast pack to run around. Gets 2, but isn't quite enough to bring it all the way around. Smircicles is standing strong there with that Phantom, but oh my, was that close, Jag.
It was close. They lost everyone, and it seems like this is kind of a recurring theme for UC Davis so far, where they are winning these rounds, but they are not winning them very cleanly. I mean, they're losing almost everyone along the way. There's only 1 or 2 players left alive on their side, and twice it's been Smircicles, who has just been the last man standing. So they really, I think they've got to try to figure out a way of having cleaner defenses once they plant the spike. The good news for them is that because they won that round, they won on the bonus round for Dominguez Hills. They have a big economy advantage. They're all able to rebuy. And as you see, the assault rifles are flowing for them. And now they're going to be a little bit closer to having that run it back. But it could be just a bait to try to get them to move on to B. The defenders have definitely rotated.
Well, if it's a bait, I will say that they've committed everybody over here, so they're gonna have to move away, and it looks like that's what's gonna happen. Riley looking for a shot with that Marshall is not gonna be hitting it though, so has to fall back after getting tagged significantly here in mid. One mad bad dog on this duelist, the Reyna we were talking about in the pregame, trying to find something, but does get out of there before there's any players to contend with. It's kind of just a little bit of information gathering here for both sides here early.
Yeah, and she does have the Empress, so you could see the Arena try to pop that, but I don't think that they will. I think they realize that this is probably not the time to do so. If you find 1 or 2 kills with the Sheriff, and you're able to pick up an assault rifle and you're able to overheal, that's when you commit it. That's when you go in for the big hero play. Right now, no one has fallen. Just a few players are weak, just as I said at C16. Gonna take the words right out of my mouth. That's gonna be the opening kill.
30 seconds left.
And an easy opening kill at that, considering the low HP that was on the Omen. Now, speaking of Omen, that Paranoia coming in here for Brace. A nice shot as well onto one mad bad dog who falls, leaving just Shan with this judge. Shan really loves this judge, having a good time with it. Has had a lot of success with it as well. And well, speaking of success, does just that. This time, not with a judge though, a ghost in hand, doing incredibly well to tap that head. There's still 4 players to find here with that spike planted, so it's simply a matter of time and can you save here for Shan.
Yeah, and again, like there's an ultimate online. They had the showstopper, but it would be a very unwise decision to use it right now, despite them having a pretty good health pool. They're about to be found out in just a second, or maybe not, as the Sova decides to just kind of run out in and out, just decide to go check that corner. And I mean, if you're winning this round, you don't have to play this aggressively. You don't really have to go for that final kill. They might try to find it now as the spike has exploded already. They're going to blast pack in, and they're actually going to give their life for the cause at the very end. So Shan tries to go for a sneak attack, but the blast pack, it makes so much noise when you jump in, isn't able to find the shots there with the judge. But it's not going to be the end of the world for them because they're going to be buying an assault rifle this round anyway. But UC Davis, they're on a bit of a roll. I've talked a lot about what Dominguez Hills has going into this round allies, but UC Davis, they have the Killjoy lockdown. They have the run it back, so they have a lot of value that they can use as well. And they've already shown that they're not afraid to use ultimates right off the get-go. We saw that Blaze Storm come out only 2 rounds ago.
Yeah, well, and Various also is very close to this Hunter's Fury. And you know how you can sometimes see the Hunter's Fury answer that that lockdown? That could be an interesting matchup to keep an eye on. For now, though, one mad bad dog is going to find that opening frag with the Reyna. Has popped that Empress. Just trying to get the extra firing speed, as well as, of course, all of the other perks that come with that ultimate. That being said, the man advantage still very much here for CSU, and this might be one of the first times in this game that we've seen the man advantage go the way of CSU early on, but nonetheless, that Empress expiring, and we'll see how this lockdown goes over at B. Everybody has to get out of that site. And oh no, one bad dog is being found out. That's so very unfortunate. And Esperanto with an opening frag over towards B, making things look so difficult. Riley fortunately does win against the Omen counterpart towards mid, but it's simply still 3-on-3 now. The retake having to be on point.
And Shan still has the showstopper. They just killed off the Phoenix. This would be a great time to go in a bit. You don't even have to get kills. You just have to be enough of a distraction that you can have your teammate clear out the rest of the point. And especially with the way that UC Davis is holding this, they're basically holding the exact same angle, just at different positions. But they find a headshot, but they're going to be paranoid out immediately after.
Well, that paranoia is so strong. And off the back of that, buys enough time for Shan to get it into position to find that frag. And so finally, onto the board here, CSU, they are there. So we'll see if they can turn this around, though, because the worst part is, right, if you win a round and then immediately lose the next, you're in a really rough economic position.
Yeah, and it's basically just like your economy. It's been so good so far, but you start to lose one or two and then immediately it just plummets. That's how quickly this game can change. And the more rounds you lose in a row, the more you get for losing. So you're actually kind of passively building up a credit economy, regardless of actually getting kills or not. It's still not great right now for CSU, even after they win that round. You see that their Killjoy, as well as Bay V, is going to have to go for a pistol. Actually, their Killjoy is going to buy a Vandal at the very end, but light shields. They do have the Blade Storm, so, you know, that's going to be what they use instead of a gun, and they still have 3 other ultimates online. This is very good, but there's going to be Hunter's Fury coming out.
Oh, not just that, but the aggressive dash and smash over here at the A site. C16 opening things up incredibly easily, while Esperanto on the other side of the map cleans things up that way, making things very difficult here for the defense as the showstopper comes out, but it's shut down before it can really even do anything at all, leaving 2 players left alive here on the defense. Bayv does find one, but it's quickly traded by Various, and that makes things just impossible here for one bad dog. 1-on-3. Do you even go for this? I feel like you probably should save here, but it looks as if one bad dog is at the very least inching in, trying to look for something. Here's some information over towards Generator. Tries to pre-fire, so now the information gained now for the attackers. And yeah, it looks like one bad dog might just be looking for some free frags. Never mind, jumps straight in, goes head first, and Various says no thanks. Triple kill to close out this round.
And you know how I know how tired I am right now, Vincent? Because it was the identifier of which agent they were over, and somehow I confused that with the Sova actually using their ultimate. So my apologies, everyone that's watching. That was my bad. No Hunter's Fury thrown out. It's an ultimate that they've kept. It's actually the only ultimate they haven't used so far on the side of UC Davis. And one thing you mentioned is that it's a great counter to the lockdown that now is online for CSU. So they try to use it as a retake. You just pop the Hunter's Fury, you break the actual physical object that creates the ultimate. I'm not even sure what you call it, like a capsule? I'm not sure, but what I do know is that Shan is trying to run in right now, but there's a turret to stop them.
That's a little bit rough. Baby tried to get aggressive and oh my goodness, braced. That's just outrageous. One bad dog is absolutely mauling after that frag. And it's just one player. That's Ganbear, who is trying to find something with a ghost. This ghost is beautiful, by the way. I really love this skin, Jack. I don't know if you've seen it, but it is absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, though, in a 1v5, I think that's the only positive thing we're going to see out of this.
Is that the ghost skin you get from like mastering Sage, or like, you know, doing her whole contract?
It's like a newer one. It's like the anime skin. Ooh. It's just like anime Sage.
Oh, it's very cool, I gotta say. I know Sage was kind of like very meta for a long time, and I'm sure people are kind of glad that she's not as around as much anymore, but I think that she's a very fun character and she has a very unique kit, so I'm sad that we don't see her. We might see her later on, maybe on Haven. I doubt it. Yeah, there still is a possibility, maybe some way, somehow, just as there's a possibility that this Killjoy can 1v5 with a Spectre. They still have the lockdown, but again, it's like, you just have to know the situation. This is not the time to use it. This is not the place to use it. Maybe just find an exit frag on the way out. All you have is an SMG anyway. But no, and you're dead, and it's a flawless round for UC Davis. And now they're guaranteed to at least be tied going into halftime. And now the alt economy and just the credit economy in general has flipped back into their favor.
Yeah, I mean, look at Braced sitting at max money, by the way, 9,000 credits, and a couple other players quite close. C16 and various both, you know, approaching 8,000. So it is definitely rough economy-wise right now for the CSU side. But that being said, they do have a couple of options here. You know, like you were talking about, that lockdown is available. The teleport here, or from the shadows, I guess is what it's called. Riley could pick that one up. But, well, oh my goodness, that's a great find. The opening pick is there, and Esperanto, despite Shan playing close range with that judge, finds the kill on the run it back. Absolutely incredible. So much utility going into this choke point here. C16 gets tagged up by it just a little bit. Gumbear on the other side trying not to fall. Simply a matter of time now. Oh, that's a very nice close range Nanostorm. It does push C16 off of the angle, but just moves to the other side. And now, arguably an even better angle here. Low ground can pick that up. There's the Leer. It's good enough. One Mad Bad Dog gets one. Make it a second as Brace finds Gunbear as well on the flank, but one Mad Bad Dog swings around, finds another. Make it four. Looking for the ace, and the ace is there. One Mad Bad Dog.
That's one good dog if I've ever seen one. That's the potential of Reyna. Sometimes it's more of a whimper. There goes out with an evil laugh into the night. And there's a big thing that we didn't even really get to talk about, is that Baby actually committed to the operator that round, loses it immediately. They were the first one to fall, and they still win the round. They still get that expensive gun back. So Baby now has plenty of options to hold at hopefully greater ranges, because playing with the operator that close as they did is always going to put them in the line of fire, especially when there's a Phoenix who can just throw a curveball around the corner. But now they're going to be trying a different angle. They're going to be trying to find something out of a tree, looking into mid, and it seems like usually their best bet for CSU, and this is pretty normal thing to say as they get that first kill, is getting the first kill. That can just really enable you in a round. Already now, I mean, they find it, and 4 rounds in a row. That's not impossible. That would bring them to a tie, but we're going to see the lockdown as well as the Blazestorm being used right now for UC Davis.
Yeah, getting some space, right? That's what this is here over towards B, but Baby does win that fight. That being said, one Mad Bad Dog, another frag as well before it gets traded out by C16. It was all just a ruse there over towards B. Paranoia is good to force C16 off the angle, trying to do something with that Blade Storm, but Sean just swings through the air like a monkey, just coming down with the judge, able to absolutely destroy anyone standing in their way. It's just on the Smurfsicles, who was trying to commit to that lockdown over towards B to sell the fake, but now left in a 1-on-4.
And here's the worst thing about this, is that Smurfsicles was just so far away. They end up rotating just to face their death. But, you know, if they had been able to rotate together, maybe they have a chance there. It's going to be very difficult. It was a 4v2 scenario, but losing that Killjoy, losing her kit, that really stops a retake. You know, with her nanostorms and her turret, it's going to stop enemies in their tracks, the alarm bot as well. But none of that was available for them on that attempt. They don't even get to plant the spike. They tried to go for the bait a few times to get them to drop the point. It doesn't work out. And slowly but surely, we're seeing that Dominguez Hills, they are starting to get a few rounds under their belt. It's still not said and done. There's still 3 more to go before halftime. But, I mean, if they're able to get back and get it tied up, that would be huge for them.
I mean, it would be an incredible turnaround. There's no question about it, though. Braced has something to say. It says, no, thank you. One Mad Bad Dog, who's been a big fragger here in the last couple rounds, all the way back up to the top of the leaderboard, by the way, on that Reyna. 10-9 at the moment for his team, has fallen here early stages. Though, granted, the defense has those 4 ultimates, or rather now 3 available, the Bleedstorm as well as the lockdown. So it seems as if Various is very much just holding on to that Hunter's Fury for the lockdown. It's kind of, you know, us both from Overwatch, it's kind of that hold the defensive ultimate, right? That kind of same style here from the Sova, it appears. Esperanto has eked their way up onto this site. Is Riley trying to defend, but Smurfsicles helps out and makes things very difficult Now, that operator of C16 is not going to find much work considering that Shan swings around, not a judge in hand for the first time in what seems like forever, but it all doesn't matter if the headshots come through. Esperanto and Smurfsickles continuing to find big frags, leaving Gunbear into this 1-on-4. It's unfortunate, but these Killjoys, they just keep getting left in these like 1vx situations, Jag.
They do, and we've seen this before, and they were not able to clutch out last time. This could be a shot at redemption, but that spike, it's ticking away. There isn't much to do, and I think you brought up a really good point. Kind of this cat and mouse game that's going on between Silva and Killjoy right now is you're saving the Hunter's Fury for a very specific purpose. And I mean, the downside of that is that like you might just never find the value you're looking for. It might never work out. That's gonna be one kill before it's traded out at the very end, but it's okay. I think Hunter's Fury is not the best ultimate in the game, considering that one, it can damage your own teammates, and two, it leaves you completely vulnerable. If you don't put it away quick enough and someone runs up on you, you're just dead. There's no way of winning that fight. But using it from a distance, using it as a way to counter the lockdown is a great way to use it. But I mean, there is going to be a lead now guaranteed for UC Davis after that round. But look at the ult economy for CSU. With only 2 more rounds left, I mean, they got to use like at least like 2 or 3 per round. That's the way you win. Just like use them, because there's not going to be another chance to use them after this.
I mean, it's easy, right? Sean has a showstopper. Just use that. Like W key into a position. Sean is ready on the site. And well, here comes one of them. That's the lockdown coming through. Is going to force Sean into a difficult spot, potentially, as, yeah, Sean gets out. Braced, swinging in. Does allow for Riley to fall in mid. But Esperanto, oh my goodness. Esperanto is just absolutely incredible on this character. Using that run it back to great affect to find 2 frags and just open this site up. It seems as if we're really in a position that now 2-on-5, like, it's simply a matter of time, especially if Brace gets this kill. But fortunately, Gunbear does win that gunfight. It is at the cost of some HP, but nonetheless, now a little bit more doable with this Empress pot. The Nanoswarm is going to stall that out for a little bit longer. Esperanto, though, in prime position to shut that down, says no thank you to one mad bad dog, and even closes out the quad kill for the round, as it is now just solidly this half in position for UC Davis.
Yeah, they're just going to keep running up the score, and that was just misplayed by CSU in a lot of different ways. The only ultimate they used really when it was even was the Omen teleport. Immediately gets destroyed. The Empress, it comes out just a bit too late. They could have saved this for a re-engage. So I would have loved to see the lockdown first. Like, I mean, sure, it's going to be countered immediately by the Hunter's Fury, but get that Silva ultimate out of the way. So that way you can use your showstopper or something else, you know, that's more valuable immediately after it. Try to find some quick and aggressive follow-up there. Just, it never comes out. Now their economy is not great. They still do have 3 ultimates. They're going to use the Blade Storm, but it might be a little bit too late to actually secure another round before the half.
Press all those Q buttons. Don't hold back. C16 is going to be collecting that ult orb. Not really close to a Blade Storm. Three kills away. So not sure if it's going to come into effect considering it's the last round of the half. Nobody else was really closer though, so it's all good. As the rest of the team, or I should say at least 3 players here for UC Davis, eking their way out onto A. The Hunter's Fury does come out now, trying to find something. They've gone fishing, but nothing is really there. Up onto the generator is going to do something to open the site, but not enough, as Bayv and Sean both find frags, leaving just 3 players alive. And that Blade Storm that we were talking about early in the round is coming to fruition and doing an incredible job. Getting tagged down, though, is Bayv a little bit, as Brace fights back 1 kill to make it an even game, 3-on-3, make it a 3-on-2. Brace here has been just incredible on the flank or on Cat, playing around mid, no matter what the round is, and making things so difficult for the side of CSU. Because now they've got to retake 2. What was that shot? Sean just randomly shoots through the dark cover, finds a 3rd as well. Sean is on a rampage at the moment. Just 1 player left.
Still has the showstopper. There it is.
The showstopper comes around 360, but misses that one. It doesn't matter. The gun, the Phantom, is there, and he's got the quad.
You know, I got to think if you're Sean, you're like, man, I missed the 360, but I still got the round win. So all in all, not a bad day. 4-8, not the worst score in the world. The one thing that might be tricky about it, though, is that was on defense, and I would say this is a defensive-sided map. So UC Davis on the attack, getting 8 rounds out of 12. They're going to be very happy about that as we swap sides. And you know, I gotta eat my words there a little bit. You know, I was saying, oh, like they should have used more ultimates the round before. They actually used them pretty well there. The lockdown never came out, so that was something I was a bit surprised about. I feel like, you know, even if you're about to die, just use it. You know, obviously it can be broken immediately, but try to just create some space, try to create some separation, try to get them away from you. But instead, they go to the grave with it, and their teammates are the ones that are able to save the day, especially on the back of that amazing play from Sean. Now we're going to the pistol round once again. Few frenzies here and there, mostly for the side of UC Davis. And this is a very interesting approach right now from the attackers. They are just kind of hiding behind B garage. I think they're waiting maybe for someone to push out as that Sova recon dart comes in. And now it looks like they're going to be mostly approaching B. They do have a Reyna kind of rotating around A, so I'm not sure how that split approach is going to work out for them, but the spike is going towards the B site.
Yeah, just one lurker trying to make it, you know, not as easy to get the full rotation. There comes the utility and the information. Sean a little bit off on that blast back, but it doesn't necessarily matter. That being said, the kills on site are going all the way of UC Davis. It's simply one mad dog, who has found a frag, by the way, gets that overkill, but is left in a 1-on-4 now. Very tough spot.
Yeah, I like the idea of just having someone kind of roaming from side to side, especially mid. But now you're the last person left. You weren't there for your team. Maybe if you had been there, you'd be able to find the follow-up damage needed. I mean, you see that there is one player very weak. Various is the one who's very weak right now on the side of UC Davis. So they could still fall, but it's going to be very difficult for one mad bad dog. They have clutched out before. It's not going to be found this time, and that's going to bring this team a little bit closer to winning this map. They only need 4 more rounds before it's over, and now they're going to celebrate with the pistol round victory, buying and Various coming out with the Ares. You know exactly what's going to happen here, Vincent. They're just going to try to find something out in B garage. They're going to use that Sova recon arrow, immediately try to spray through the wall. You see it every time. Sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it, but it's a strategy that works here.
I mean, listen, sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. Is maybe the most apt description of the ridiculousness of the Ares Odin on this map, right? But hey, it's a valid strategy, and you know, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's what I always say.
Just hate the gun, honestly.
Hate the gun, exactly. Like it's not their fault that it's good. That being said, a very good setup from Esperanto as gonna get that 2 frags. One player was kind of just the player meant to die now, as C16 tries with that Marshall, does get 1, but it is the heavy cost of their life. Now 2 players left at a very low HP. That shock dart could be brutal, depending. Oh, there it comes. Not going to be connecting with anything, though, as one player is ready and waiting underneath heaven. So close on that spam, man. Various is trying so hard. Knows there's one player close by. Smirstickles finds the first, then they swing down for the second.
And I was surprised they didn't just go for the spray immediately after they hit the owl drone shot, because let that tracker, I mean, you're going to know exactly where they are for a few seconds. They knew exactly that they were running into hell, so I mean, that's going to give them an idea of at least where one person is, but there they could have found the kill and just try to follow up what was on point. They still get it done. Just takes a little bit longer than necessary, but you know, everyone plays at their own pace. Everyone gets the job done the way they want to, and with that, it's going to be the bonus round now once again for CSU, but we know how this went last time. It did not work out in their favor. They ended up losing to a Judge and a Blade Storm. This time the Judge actually going to be in Sean's hand. They have done some serious work with the shotgun from time to time. I'm a bit surprised they're going for that. It looks like they might actually just not have enough to buy an assault rifle, but with that, they're just going to enable them to run in, and already the trade's coming through.
That's just a great opening there from the Reyna. One mad bad dog making that play, and Baby following it up. So it's a 2-for-1 deal, and you'll love to see those as the spike gets planted. There's now 3 players trying to retake here for the UC Davis side of things. Smirstickles does win that gunfight against Baby. despite the not ideal weaponry, the paranoia is going to force this retake off for just a little bit longer, because now the numbers are even up. Recovery of that rifle for C16. No more judge in hand. Now the swing comes in, but Riley, so strong, gets all 3 frags, just quickly, easily dispatching the rest of the retake.
Yeah, I think Riley basically just said there, you know, I might not be on the Sova, but I know I'm the best Sova with a machine gun, so you don't get to have this time in the spotlight with the Ares. Various, though, is actually going to upgrade a little bit, going to go now for the Odin instead. And it's going to be one more round going the way of CSU, but they still have a long hill to climb if they want to get back into this one. It seems to be a little bit more even footing. I feel like there was like at the beginning, it was very much one side. UC Davis is really winning a bunch of rounds. Since then, it's kind of been a bit more back and forth. Like for every 2 rounds that's been won by UC, it seems like CSU is able to take at least one back. And that does help you get a little bit, but it's not going to help you get enough to stay alive.
Yeah, it certainly is not going to be enough. As I mean, the math adds up. You know, if you get 2 rounds for every one, we can see it's 10-5. So that's exactly those maths working out. That being said, we are seeing the defender Killjoy use their lockdown as everybody has to fall back. I think the baby is going to get locked down. Yes, does get locked down. One mad bad dog though, not so much. So buys enough time for Baby to get out. That spike getting diffused, now halfway. It's gonna have to be the commitment. Does finally die. The diffuser is killed, but it leaves Baby left in the 1-on-2. One player attacked very low. That's Esperanto, but braced through the dark cover, able to pick that up, and it is another round victory here for the defense of UC Davis.
And that's always going to be the danger if you completely give up point. I mean, you have to, right? The lockdown, it's perfectly executed, it's well timed. I think the idea there is they wanted to try to use Baby as bait and have one mad bad dog be the follow-up, but they just peaked. They peaked way too soon. They had to wait for the swing. They had to be a bit more patient. There, they ran out at the wrong time, completely exposed themselves. They fell, and even though there's a few trades that work out in their favor, they have no way to really get back onto the point. You saw the hot hands completely cut off. That choke point, the archway, they were unable to move through, and then once they were finally able to, there was an Omen smoke there that completely cut off their line of sight, and they were not able to kill the final spike diffuser. They don't have a lot of good guns either, so they're just gonna try to run on to A.
Yeah, I mean, listen, just keep running A and it'll work. It is a relevant strategy, to be fair, on this map, considering the fact that this site is fairly undefensible. You pretty much have to play retake on it, and there's really no choice in the matter. This time, it's the attacker Killjoy who has the last laugh, pulls out that lockdown and says no thanks to a retake, at least for the next about 10 seconds. So a good position now, or at least forward position, I should say, for some of these attackers. But it looks like Various might be somewhat aware. No, is not. No one checks the angle, and Sean with 2. But C16 is going to find 2 as well. Make it 3. C16, absolutely incredible with this Blade Storm. It's finding all of the frags. There's the Lear trying to defy these blades. Doesn't do quite enough, but missing the shots as C16 is now Sean. And one mad bad dog finally closed out that round, and they get one on the board here, but it is at a hefty price tag.
It is. So many of them die. They lose Sean too. Sean dies with the judge in their hands. A great play by the Rays to help secure that round. A great kind of just pincer attempt. They had, one on the back, one from the archway. So great job of positioning there for the attacker. CSU, as you say, do take one, but at what cost? I mean, they are able to buy, except for their Killjoy is going to have to settle for a Bulldog, and they've actually kind of put UC Davis in a bad position. UC Davis, they're going to have to go for a light buy. So it's a great round to win. It keeps them in the game, and it keeps them away. It keeps UC Davis away from getting to that 12th round, because we know what happens when you hit 12. Then it becomes impossible to win outright. Then it goes to overtime at best if you're trying to get that comeback.
And it's so much more, on the mind, right? You have to deal with the mental strain of being up against map point here. Not quite match point yet, but still not insignificant. And so here we are, the Bucky in hand. We've seen what the shotguns can do, and that right click is so powerful. Headshot in, and one mad bad dog falls to the Bucky. There's nobody here on B, so the paranoia not going to hit anybody. I say that as Esperanto was hiding in the corner. Missed out on my peripheral vision, so I do apologize for that one. There's still 3 on 4, though. The player advantage available now for the defense, despite their much poorer purchase into this round. And Various now pulling out the Hunter's Fury makes it even more so, denying that spike plant for the time being. Gunbear could get it down, but the paranoia is in again, and it's just such a great job, great utility usage, and incredible ultimate usage coming through for the thrifty victory to put us to that point.
That's the penultimate round now. UC Davis, they only need one more, and I wouldn't say I'm surprised because we've seen them, you know, win with less before, but that time that was like the thriftiest of rounds, almost all rocking Buckies there. Still get the job done. Great job with the Hunter's Fury. It's not used as a counter ultimate, it's used as an engage ultimate. They find 1 kill onto the Omen. They almost find the kill onto the Dancing Killjoy. The rest of the team is there to follow up. Paranoia with the Bucky gets the kill at the end of the day. And I mean, for the defenders, all they have is the Omen teleport, and it's not going to be a great counter to this. Again, very aggressive A-Rush with C16 with the operator.
Oh, there's a showstopper trying to find something, but C16's on a rampage. Gets 2 with the operator in the backside, and that showstopper is irrelevant because it's shut down with ease. Now just 2 players left. That operator C16 is going to fall as they back into the corner where Gunbear is ready and waiting. But now it's just a matter of time. That being said, if Gunbear can find another, finds 2, has to reload, pulls out the classic, trying to get something. Nobody's home once more. Riley finds a kill elsewhere, and this is now very doable. There's 2 players left. It does get tagged, though, by that Owl drone, making things even more difficult as Gunbear stuck in the corner. They know exactly where both of these players are ready and waiting, but look at the HP. Various is really quite low, and the spike is ready to go. On the corner of that smoke, Gunbear finds a frag onto the opposing Killjoy. Unfortunate timing, though, as Various gets that frag, and no! You gotta pull out your guns, Riley! Falling down, and that is the map 1 going to UC Davis.
I have so many conflicting feelings about that last round, Vincent. I feel like I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to see a bit of a comeback. CSU, they're going to be able to take another one. They're going to stay alive for at least one more round. They had such great opportunity. And then as soon as Riley picked up the operator, I was thinking, oh no, it's over. Because Various is just right around the corner. Unless you can hit that one tap immediately, it's just going to be lights out for you. The Vandal is going to have usually a quicker fire rate, especially if you're zooming, especially if you're not expecting them to be coming right from the right-hand side, you know, in your peripheral vision. It can be so just make you hesitate, can make you flinch for just a moment. That's all you got in a game like that. Unfortunately, Riley not able to be the hero here on Ascent. UC Davis, they are going to take this first map. And I wouldn't say it was a total stop. They were definitely very good at certain parts. They definitely seemed like the better team on certain rounds, but CSU definitely had their moments as well. And I think you just have to reel it in a little bit with the team play. You got to make sure you're not giving up those first kills so often. And maybe on the second map, they're able to bring it back.
Yeah, there in the first half, I feel like they were thereabouts. The second half, though, it was pretty much the UC Davis show, right? You know, able to find 2 rounds, yes, but 2 rounds at a hefty price. And on top of that, it felt as if an individual had to really step up and make a huge hero play for that to happen. So it definitely was difficult, though. I will say maybe you can go back to the drawing board, CSUDH, and figure out what went wrong. And we're going to give them the opportunity to do that, maybe get some coaching in there, have a conversation, and see what they can do to adjust as we move into map number 2 of Haven. Whilst they do that, we're going to take a short little break here, and we'll be right back with you with more Valorant action right after this.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Alrighty, well, map 1 is in the books, and we're headed over to Haven here for map number 2 of CSUDH 1 versus UC Davis 1 here in the Champions Division. I am back. My name is Vincent, joined by Jag. And, well, we saw map number 1, Jag. Take me through it. What were your thoughts there, and what could CSUDH do to try and bring this back?
I think the biggest thing is they have to really focus on their positioning. I think there are a lot of times they let themselves very vulnerable, especially when they were on the defense. They played way too far up usually when you should play further back, use natural cover to make sure that you can't just get jiggle peeked around a corner immediately. And then on attack, I think they actually had the right idea. I think they did a great job of just aggressing onto a point as a full 5-person squad. They usually were able to overpower the 1 or 2 people that were there on point, but also just like their defense. Once they planted, it was pretty hit or miss. I would say more miss than not, unfortunately. And I think you need to just try to enable one mad bad dog as much as possible. They have such great pop-off potential. We've seen it many a times. We saw it here today with that incredible ace that clutched out that round, one of the few that they were able to win. And again, it wasn't a total stomp. I think there were still moments. I mean, you win 6 rounds. It's not an easy feat against a team that's as good as UC Davis won, but you got to win more than that. You got to keep things closer. You can't be trading 1 for 2. I mentioned that, I think, at one point was that you'd see UC Davis win 2 rounds and then CSU, they'd be able to win 1, but then it'd immediately go back to 2 for UC Davis. You've got to build up a consistent winning streak to give yourselves a bit of momentum. If you don't have momentum in this game, you really have no chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that at 10-5, and it's exactly what we were seeing. Was for every round that we saw CSU pick up, UC Davis had at least 2, and you know those that just being able to pick up 1 round, I think you nailed it, right? The snowball potential that you have. If you just win 1 round, your money is just infinitely in the bin. You're literally always in a dumpster fire of cash, and it's just not great. So you have to try and figure out a way to get purchases off the back of that, and it can be so difficult. So winning multiple rounds in a row, maybe winning a pistol round off the back of that potentially, and turning that into big victories, I think that could be something that we need to see here on Haven for CSU to pick things up. But we'll head into the agent selection, I should say, here in a moment, and we'll see if we're going to see any differentiation. Jack, are you thinking we are going to see anything different or much the same?
I still want to see the Sage. I'm hoping out for the Sage. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. But I want to see CSU go away from the triple duelist comp. I think you nailed it on the head earlier on when you said the Raze is not the best for Ascent. I think the Phoenix is probably the better choice if you really want to run the triple duelist comp, because if you're going to do that, you got to commit to aggression. You got to commit to those first kills. And a lot of times, as we just talked about, they were the ones dying first themselves. So none of those abilities are getting online. We saw that the showstoppers were not particularly great. Sean still did have a lot of amazing plays, had some great plays, especially with the judge. But the showstopper at the very end, we saw a shot on the dark. It completely missed. That's what right now looks like CSU is trying to do. We saw them maybe going for a Sky for just a brief second there. I do remember Riley playing the Sky previously, but I think they also had 0 instead of Sean when they played that composition. So with Sean in instead of 0, I think that Riley's going to be mostly on the controller duty. On the other side, the only thing they've swapped right now for UC Davis, it looks like, is the Cypher. So instead of the Killjoy, Cypher, everything else is exactly the same from the last map. And I think that's good. I think Cypher is really good, especially to lock down either C or A. I think maybe better on A nowadays. I used to run him a lot on C, but I think that with the long sidelines, it can be a bit more dangerous. See that a bit more tricky. But here are the final lineups. And one bad dog on the Reyna again. I do like that. I do think that if they can help enable this duelist, if they can help enable Reyna to get in and get kills, that's kind of their win condition right now. But they are going to run the triple duelist again, and I don't know. We saw how it worked out last time. It didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily put that loss down to the triple duelist or the composition, to be fair. I don't feel like that was necessarily the problem. That being said, it's interesting that we see Smurfsticles on this Cypher as opposed to 0 on the Killjoy. I think Cypher is better here, whereas the Killjoy is so favored on Ascent because of the lockdown spots on both A and B for both sides. It's just such a convenient ultimate. So I actually think it's interesting that 0 has gone for the Killjoy again. My eyes are going to be on 0. How much Killjoy utility or how much value are you going to be able to get out of that utility? It's going to be a big question mark for me in this one as we get into the pistol round. Looks as if the attacker is trying to spread out here, trying to get some information. They gain some of that over towards A long and then just move away from that area.
It's interesting that they've swapped 0 onto the Killjoy. I mean, they've swapped out their previous Killjoy player, so they do want to make that substitution, but they're going to have the roles still not be the same as I think we saw in week 3. So they're trying something new, trying something different. And on their defense, it looks like they're going to have to try to rotate to C now.
Yeah, that spike going to get planted here shortly as it goes down. 3 players committed over towards the side at the moment as the push looks to come through. Utility being traded in both ways. Jet dashing in, trying to create some space. C16 with 2 big frags on the Frenzy. Bayv responds with 1, but it's the battle of the Jets, and C16 is winning it out. The quad kill for C16 as Esperanto gets in on the action.
So I'm gonna tell you a little fun story. The only time I've ever gotten an ace playing Valorant is actually on the pistol round. So I was really hoping there that we'd see it for our own eyes, but there, just Esperanto said, you know what? I'm sorry. Get that ace another time. I just want to win this pistol round. They win it again. They have not lost a pistol round so far out of the 3 that we've seen today, and still gonna stay pretty strong there. And I'm very surprised about the fact that I believe that CSU actually picked to be on defense. I'll have to look back at the map bands to confirm that, but if they did, I think that's very surprising because this is such an attacker-sided map, and it's because of the 3 points. It's the only map in Valorant that has 3 points, so it's much more difficult to cover. Usually you've got to have someone roaming mid at all times, and once again, they're just going to take advantage of that and go to C.
So, okay, I'm going to blow your mind here, Jag. I thought that was the case, all right? Until I heard in the Sunday Showdown, the Tier 2 tournament, they took, they looked at it, and this map has come out to be, at least at that level, defensive sided by a slim margin, and my mind was blown. I'm not sure how that happened, but that's what I was told. So maybe not. Maybe their brains are bigger than ours.
I believe it.
Nonetheless, this is looking to be a very quick and easy round, considering the investment. Not exactly, it's exactly what we would have expected, right? Sean, the only player who invested here, has the Bucky left and does get a kill with it, to be fair. So is going to take a little bit of extra cash into the next one, but that's all that Sean's really going to get out of this, and might die for it as well. Does in fact die off the back. Oh my goodness, 2 players tied to the spike. That's brutal.
Yeah, Priest and Various, they were trying to get out, but because there was someone right in their way, they walked back into garage. I'm not sure what that was about. At that point, you just have to run for the hills, run for your lives, and hope that you can escape the spike. And you brought up a good point. I mean, yeah, at the pro level, this is a more defender-sided map. You got to remember that's the tippy top, right? That's the cream of the crop. There are some very talented players here in NECC, especially in this Champions Division. This is the top division that we have here for Valorant. There are Immortal players, there are Radiant players, but there's a big difference, I feel like, between an esports org that has some of the top players in the country versus a great collegiate program, but that's going to be just running right through it. It's not going to work out for them.
You make a very fair point, Jag. That is absolutely the case. Something to keep in mind. And, well, keeping in mind that there's a player sitting right next to you. Don't want to dash forward. The spike is getting planted here, but it's a player advantage available here for the defense. Very solid stuff for CSUDH, as now the run it back invested, trying to run away, not wanting any part of Esperanto's shenanigans, but it doesn't matter because Esperanto still gets 2 before getting sent back, and that player advantage has evaporated. It's all gone as Riley and Co have to run in, but look at the HP there on the Jet. It's so low. They've got to run away, Jag. It's all over.
Yeah, Bayvie can just not do anything. Almost gets killed in heaven. Instead, Riley and Bayvie decide to split. They don't win that one. I think the good thing for CSU is that looking at the guns that were picked up by UC Davis, they didn't really get a ton from that round. That's like the one good thing, is that they're still rocking a Spectre and a Stinger for Brace and Various, which is really hilarious, remembering that they died in the last round. So if they hadn't, who knows? But they are going to be able to buy this time. All of them are going to see Sean go back to the Judge, and I feel like the Judge works a lot better on Ascent just because of the way the map is designed. There isn't as much, I would say, like just corners that you can hide behind here, except for, honestly, I would say the attacker side actually has more of that. You're not going to really find it as much on the middle of the map or the defender side. Maybe in garage you can try to hide, maybe in a short. Beyond that, it doesn't really work out ever. Let's see where Sean is. It looks like Sean, for my mini map, is playing at a long right now, so that's not usually the distance you want with a Judge, but they're going to try it. But they're not going to be having anyone approaching them just yet. But looks like they might actually try to go for the flank rotation, which I think would be very smart from CSU.
Yeah, I feel like there's lots of options, right? Like A short, B, and maybe even in garage. But like, if a team's using utility effectively, those are going to be punished pretty heavily, I feel. Especially in the Champions League here. That being said, Bayvie with the opening frag does give a great opportunity for CSUDH to get into this round. That being said, too, on the opposite side, easily entering over towards B, but Bayvie still making a statement here, is finally shut down by Esperanto over there at B. But man, it is simply a matter of time as the A push is in and the plant is gone down. C16 does fall, trying to get aggressive, but there's still 2v2 now as one player is rotating in here up top. Both Yeomans trying to find out what's going on. One player up above, one player down below. As now the push comes in, does take some damage. Zero does trade though. So still one-on-one, but Esperanto, low HP, doesn't matter. Gonna be able to win that one out.
Gets another hot hands, doesn't even need the extra healing. I mean, that was, Esperanto was super weak when they planted that spike, just to point out. They had like a sliver of health. They didn't actually use their flame wall or their hot hands until after the spike was planted. So there was a good opportunity there for CSU just to kind of run in and try to take advantage of that. They don't. They wait until the spike is already planted. They try to go for the retake. Does not work out. I feel like the turret there from Zero had a great chance of killing Esperanto. They didn't even have to go for a gunplay. They just had to kind of do-si-do them, keep them in the line of the turret, but they were not able to. It didn't find the follow-up shots. And that's 4 rounds in a row for UC Davis. I feel like this is a bit of a repeat from what we saw on the last time. I think this is the exact scoreline we had going into round 5.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. It might have been 3-1 if they got the bonus, but I don't think they did.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah,
they lost
you're
it.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. Exactly the same scoreline, and it's certainly looking rough, right? That Blade Storm was pulled out for Bay V, but it's quickly dispatched. Esperanto and Smurfsicles both say no thank you. I'll take another. As it's the opening over here towards B there. Sean, close range with that judge. This is where it can be very effective. We were talking about it earlier. Where do you use it? Well, maybe right here. Does take a lot of damage for the trouble. The rest of the team here for the attack move over towards Garage. And Various finding that frag through the edge of the smoke. Leaves Zero lone. Trying to find something here on the site. The first not to be, and that range, that gun, not ideal. Sean trying to do something, recovering that sheriff, but it is short-lived. So yeah, 5-0 here, and UC Davis simply look indomitable here.
They look so clean. They even get the spike plant at the end, so even more credits going to be going into their pockets. You usually don't see the Cypher be super effective on attack. I feel like it's very hard to use them. The only real thing you can do if you're setting up is you can just use it and like just stop someone from flanking with your tripwire, and then the camera can be great to try to scout out a point, but they are great for once you plant the spike. And I think we've seen that they've taken a really good advantage of that. They've been able to use Smurfsicle's abilities really well, especially when they go for this C long attempt. Now that they have the run it back, Esperanto, I'm sure, is about to pop it. There it is, and now they're going to run in.
Yeah, and well, whoa, that's a bad timing, unfortunately, there for Smurfsicles. Zero pushing at a time that is not ideal for them. That's Onar Dart trying to find something close range. One mad bad dog winning out against Esperanto. Something that Esperanto has not been losing gunfights very often. And those paint canisters gonna have to force one player out. And oh my goodness, one mad bad dog is on a tear right now. Gets a second. That shot was nice and crispy, making a third. One mad bad dog continuing this retake. Not quite able to get the fourth because Sean steals it away, but still an incredible round there for one mad bad dog.
It was indeed, and I told you about this, Vincent. I said their winning condition was to keep one mad bad dog satisfied, keep them healthy, keep them in the fight. That time they did. You see their pop-off potential just completely come out for their team. It's going to be one round going their way. It's going to be a little bit of room to buy, and they get the operator. So the attackers actually bought an operator last time, UC Davis. They tried to use it once they got the spike plant. They weren't able to find shots. It's right now in Riley's hands, which I find a bit interesting. I feel like generally you'd want it on a duelist like a Raze or a Jet. I think that those are the best ones because they just have such great movement abilities that can help them kind of like get out of fights if they need to immediately like get out of the way if they miss a shot. But instead, Riley is going to be holding onto it. Defenders are going to have a good advantage with that operator. They're playing it on C long, and no one is going towards C long right now.
So, Jack, I hate to crash your party, but Riley actually was the one who purchased the operator in the last round.
Oh, and they picked
dropped
it up?
Yeah, they dropped it. They died early. But nobody dying early in this round is the good news, but the spike getting planted over at A is the bad news here for the attack. But that's the lockdown. It's going to get procced immediately by the defense in order to try and dislodge the entirety of these players out. One mad bag dog is just trying desperately to find anyone who gets forced out, but the aggression was there for the offense. They just got aggressive and got rid of the lockdown as the trades go back and forth all the way around. There's just 2 players left. One mad bad dog against him. Has the Lear, throws that out, not going to be effective at finding anybody. Empress's pot swings around, and Braced is there. Triple kill confirmed. And that was about the easiest round you could find, at least the most open site you could find over at A.
It was indeed, and I gotta say, folks, get Jack Caster, who is not afraid to correct you when you make a mistake. I appreciate that, Vincent, making sure that everyone at home knows the correct information there. Though
Problem.
this time the operator is actually going to be in their hands for real. No lie there. Brace going to be trying it, so it's actually going to be the Omen player on the other side. So not sure what it is right now about these Omens and operators, but we'll see if it works. Riley actually going to be still rocking the sniper, though. They're going to have to go for the budget when they're going to be going for the Marshall.
Yeah, I don't know why both of these Omens are playing the operator. You're right. It's certainly very weird. That being said, that Marshall in the hands of Riley, certainly effective, does find a frag. And that is the opener, at least for the defense. Esperanto falling, but Riley does fall for the trouble. So it's still 1-for-1 nonetheless as the plant goes down. Able to find something here as Various a double kill. Just Various doing absolute incredible work right now. 3 now on the round, and I mean, yes, it's against pistols, but it's still a beauty to watch. As now it's simply Zero, who has a frenzy, could find maybe a second one depending on if Smurf Sickles is looking the right direction, but it's going to be difficult.
It is, and now they've found out where this Killjoy is, and Zero is not going to be long for this world. I love that Oni finishing animation. It's my favorite. It's the best in the game, bar none. But that's just my opinion. Regardless, the lead is going to be once again guaranteed for UC Davis, and this time they're doing it even a bit more decisively. I think it was at least 6-2 at one point in Ascent, but here it's 7-1. And I mean, this can spiral out of control really quickly. Your economy is still really, really good. There is going to be a force buy from CSU, but they lose this. You probably win 1 or more 2 rounds off of that. You still have the operator. You have 3 ultimates. If you're UC Davis, basically everything that could be going right is going right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just very much the case. They're really just rolling away with this game, and trying to get aggressive there with Sean is going to force Smurf Sickles to play a little bit passively here, but all things considered, it's not going to matter that much. A site is taken. The spike is going to be coming down. Smurf Sickles actually had that spike. I didn't notice. That could have been a little bit dicey if Sean had continued pushing forward, but fortunately, Smurf Sickles in no danger. That's the Hunter's Fury getting pulled out as well as to run it back. Esperanto is going to be the one to get the kill, though, out of those 2 ultimates. Esperanto so good with those run it backs, consistently getting frags and multi-frags with it. Now 4 on 5 here. The defense has to come up huge. Such an important round, in C16 is saying no thank you. Esperanto and C16 both getting frags. It's a full house of them for those 2. 3 for Esperanto and 2 for C16.
Hold on. All right, hold on. Did you see what like the little like emote was, or like little picture was for the death of Baby? They tied from fall damage, and yet Esperanto still gets the kill. So I'm not exactly sure what that interaction is there, but Esperanto's gonna get another one in their K column.
Did they jump into a hot hands maybe?
I don't know. I didn't see it throughout all the chaos, but there was a lot of ultimates committed there by UC Davis. I think maybe 1 too many. I'm not sure how much room the Hunter's Fury really created. So that might be something they wanted back, especially with a lockdown not too far away for Zero. But they use it. The run it backs have been incredible. They've been amazing for Esperanto. I think he's already had 3 so far in 9 rounds. That's what, one every 3 rounds. That's incredible.
I mean, Esperanto out here farming frags, ult orbs, and defuses to get these ultimates online, I guess. Or I guess spike plants in Esperanto's case. My apologies, but yeah, he's been really popping off in the early stages of this map, and C16 doing the same. Guess that opening frag, Smurf Sickles following it up. C16 with another. It's simply just a gallery of frags coming through here for the offense. 1 does fall. That's Bayv, who finds the kill elsewhere, but C16 closes out a quad kill once more. And honestly, UC Davis won. They just are running away with this match.
Yeah, I think they want to go to bed just as much as we do, Vincent. And they're 3 hours behind us, so I think they're ready to, put the end to this game. Again, this is a rematch of a game that happened on Sunday in a different league. So CSU, they really wanted to come out strong. They really wanted to have a different result here, but it looks like things are going the exact same way with only 2 rounds left before the swap. There is not much right now that CSU can do. They have a very kind of weird force buy, I would say. They have 1 Vandal for 0, but then everything else is, shotguns, SMG, and now they don't even have a jet. And it looks like the push might be going to B, and with that flame wall coming up, it looks like they want to create space.
Space it does create. And, well, more than that, frags Esperanto with that one. Swinging in here is Various, trying to find something. And I'm not quite sure what Sean was doing with the knife out in that position, but it certainly isn't going to be netting a frag. That being said, Riley and Zero both do find one, but unfortunately Riley falls for the trouble. So it's left this to Zero, who has a nice little fan. I do like that thing. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is fun. You're going to have to try and do something against 3 players. He's looking to just save, but even that might be a tough task depending on where these players exit.
Yeah, I think if you save here, if you're able to keep that Vandal, you might actually be able to go for a team full buy, depending on how many credits are going to be given for how many rounds they've lost in a row, which is going to be 5 with this one. So there is a chance for them to maybe bring one back, but UC Davis, they're going to get 10 round wins. That's incredible. They're still going to have 3 ultimates going into this. CSU, they're going to have 2. They're going to have that showstopper and that lockdown. They need to use them. They need to use them quickly. Like, they can, I mean, maybe save the lockdown, actually. Maybe use it once the spike is playing to try to clear the point and just go for a defuse. But I want to see that showstopper in particular come out pretty quickly. I know one of the things I critiqued them on before was being a bit too aggressive. But if you're going to be playing like that anyway, like, you might as well just go all in. You might as well just go for the showstopper. Try to find those rocket launcher kills off the bat. Deny any usage from the neural theft, from the run it back, from the blade storm. That's still in line for UC Davis. Just don't let them do anything this round. You need to do something, right? You got to catch them off guard at this point.
Well, we'll use it like what you're saying, right? Use it to create space, right? Like a jet dash or something that you would use it. So it's just not been effective. And, well, let's run it back. Speaking of effective, this has been very effective. Zero trying to get out of there, is going to get away. The run it back is no longer able to follow up. The time run out. But it still does allow for it to be a 5-on-5. The blade storm was there, but Esperanto doesn't need to run it back. Just finds headshots after headshots. Baby falling. That's a jet gone already. And it was the full buy, like you said. So, not ideal, but still winnable here. 4-on-5 now.
Yeah, they still have both those ultimates I mentioned. They didn't lose too much in the all department with Baby being down, as they'd used the blade storm pretty recently and didn't have it nearly back online. We see Smircicles just looks like they were trying to spam away. Now they've picked up a different gun. I think they've actually gone from the Vandal now after having the Odin for a little bit. So they're going to be trying for a little bit of a more consistent gun, I would say. The Odin more just a spray and pray. They're being very slow on this approach. It looks like they are going to try to go to A, but they still have that rotation at B, as you see that there still is Esperanto just kind of playing outside of B. And that can be dangerous because there's 2 looking their way, but there's a B. Riley just teleporting right into them. What was that?
This is just so unfortunate, right? 5 players versus 2. It's simply a matter of time. Esperanto with 1. Various closes this down 11-1 this half, Jag. And I mean, come on. UC Davis are just absolutely popping off. They're playing incredibly well. And CSUDH, like, honestly, I feel bad. Like, what are they supposed to do? They're just playing against a team that's firing on all cylinders at the moment.
Yeah, it's a team that they're going to lose to twice in about 1 week, too. So that's got to sting a little bit extra. I think they played really good at certain parts on Ascent here on Haven. Again, I just think that defense is worse, despite the statistics. I believe you. I totally trust you about the pros and how it's a little bit better when you go defense first. But here, we're a little bit below that. Still a lot of great players, still a lot of great talent. And here on the attack, I mean, just look at that. 11 rounds, 11-1. Only gave up 1 the entire time. They win this pistol round, and it's basically over. I mean, CSU, they're going to have to force buy, and they're just not going to have enough to really be able to match the firing power. So they try to go on to B. They are going to get a little bit of shots out.
Well, would make Sean Gears angry on this one. Hates that B-side push, but it's certainly working out here on the pistol. Nobody falling just yet. And that's all. I love how they're playing aggressive here. This is so smart, right? You get some information and then you push out and kill the A rotator. And now you have so many places for the defense of that spike. Information gained over here in mid for the defense. Now they're retaking, coming in 1 for 1 though, making it a couple of more. And now it's still 2 on 2. It's making it 2 on 1. Just the Reyna left in the 1 on 2. And well, that is quickly dealt with. Esperanto says, no, thank you. I want to go to bed. I want to win this out. And it's 12 to 1.
And that was of overheal. Reyna had 150 health in shields, quote unquote, there, and still got instantly popped like a weasel. Just great focus fire by UC Davis. They're able to put that away, and now we're going to see the buys come out. Like this again, the first buy does have to come out from CSU. They got to spend whatever they have because this is now or never. This is where they have to make their final stand. Meanwhile, on the other side, UC Davis, they're just going to buy like it's a normal Thursday. Like they won another pistol round. Their 4th of the night out of 4, so 100% so far on that first round, and the 13th round after the side swap. Yeah, it's gonna be a mid approach, and we'll see where they go. They might go to garage. No, they're actually gonna go on to B once again. It seems like they really want to try this B site one more time, despite it not working out on their last attempt.
Well, I mean, it was a good strategy, so I don't hate it. It's definitely not bad. This time, though, the defender over towards A is very much ready for that. In fact, it's just turning into an A push. And oh my goodness,
collateral.
the collateral. That's incredible. Swervesicles and braced with frags, and here we are, 13 to 1, the final score line. We talked about it could be better than Ascent, but no, it is not. Absolute domination. UC Davis, absolutely incredible plays, really stepping up and making it a pretty easy map, all things considered. At least it looked like it.
And I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, and I'm thinking it's organized by team. It's not. It's just all top 5 of the players in the lobby were on the side of UC Davis here in this one. So that just shows you how dominant they were throughout this map. It was very one-sided, unfortunately, for CSU, who looked very good in certain moments of Ascent. Wasn't able to replicate that performance. And I really liked actually what CSU did at the very end. It looks like they were going B. They debated me. They debated the Jet. They debated C16. But C16's just too good. They don't even care that they're being pressured out by the entire team. They're going to stand their ground. They're going to find those shots with the Marshall, get the collateral, which you and me both, we both were super pumped about that. And that's going to put the game on ice. A 2-0 series going the way of UC Davis won, and they're now moving up to 5-0 on the season. I just think this might be the best team in the Champions Division. I don't know if we're going to see a team that can beat them right now.
I mean, yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that UC Davis is very much on the path of being that best team, and now I think the only undefeated team in Champions Division as well. So it's incredible. You love to see a team like this. You love to see a team firing on all cylinders. A team that is just absolutely incredible in every aspect. Even Smurfsicles, who was sitting down at the bottom of the leaderboards, 10-6. It's just a good score line. It just is what it is. So you love to see that. You love to have a team that is playing like that. And well, unfortunately for CSUDH, they do not get that positive record. They are going down to 2-3, but there's plenty of other games for them to play, and it's okay, right? They lost out to what is, again, we're deeming the best team in this division. There ain't no shame in that. You got more games. It's so great. But any final thoughts here, Jag, on this matchup before we sign off for the evening?
I just think right now that UC Davis, they have the Jack and Vincent seal of approval signed and stamped, but there's still a lot of other teams in this division. So who knows? Someone could end up taking that throne later on. Like you said, there's a lot of games we played in CSU. I mean, I think looking at Ascent, they can learn a lot from it, especially from the good things that they did, and try to, use that as a way to have more success later on. So, don't put your head down for too long. There's still a lot of the season left to be played out. And that's really all I got to say on this one. I think this last map, there isn't too much to talk about. It was, it went one way, and it did not stop going the way of UC Davis.
Certainly did not. So that is the 2-0, 13-6, 13-1 in the favor of UC Davis. That is going to mean it is it from us, though, this evening here for the NECC broadcast. Thank you so much, everybody who has tuned in. It's been an absolute pleasure on behalf of myself, Jag, and, of course, Caleb, who's been doing all the producing and observing this evening, has had a long day himself. We want to thank you, and we hope to see you here not only next week, but tomorrow and the day after. We've got broadcasts all week, so don't forget to tune in every day pretty much for some awesome esports action in the collegiate scene. So we will see you next time, but for now, y'all have a great night.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Wow.